All right, today we're going to get into something very cool, something fun. We're going to get into how to make your old vintage, crusty, wore out motor a one-kick bike. So by doing that, I'm going to walk you through all the steps necessary that should get you pretty close. Now you might have to fine tune a few of these particular models to get it just spot on dialed in. But so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our spark plugs out. And the reason we want to take our spark plugs out, which I already did, which I'm looking at my spark plugs right now, and those look absolutely phenomenal. So it means my carb is tuned to perfection. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the spark plugs. And then I'll show you in a second, but we have a timing plug on the other side. And then we're going to remove the front two clips off of our push rods. So the reason you remove the spark plugs is we're going to actually use this kicker to roll the motor over. So I've done this a few times. I'm pretty sure that's top dead center by looking at my points, but I am correct, it's top dead center. So there's an inspection hole on this side, on the primary side, right above the primary. There's a big, I think it's a 5/8 plug that goes in. You're going to roll it around, the motor around, until a line is dead center. It's a straight line up and down. Depending on your motor, it could be a dot, it could be a line. You'd have to reference what motor you're dealing with to tell you exactly what your top dead center line is. The way you can check top dead center is you come here, spinny, spinny. These spin, both spin like freely like that. You're on top dead center. If one spins and one doesn't, roll it around until you get to that point again, and you should be on top dead center at that time. So once you get both of these free, now you come back over to this side of the bike again, and you break out. So usually you use your feeler gauges. I'm going to show you an old school hack that everybody has, because not everybody has feeler gauges on the side of the road. They don't have everything possible to do this on the side of the road. So I'll show you an old school hack. You're going to set your points gap to 18 to 22 thousandths. And what you do is, I might show you an old school trick if I can. There it is. Take a business card. A business card is roughly, on good quality stock paper, is roughly around 16 to 18 thousandths. So you take your points and you open it up here, and you will adjust the screw accordingly till you get this slipping in and out. Once this is slipping in and out, your points are set. What you want is, as you're turning it, you want this to slowly start opening. So once we get all this set, we have our, you adjust, this is basically the locking, there's a locking flathead bolt and then an adjustment screw. So you loosen it and then use this to set your depth for your points. Once you get that all set, lock everything down. Now there's secondary, so this is an external pan head, so it's on the outside. So if I'm just off a hair, I have secondary adjustment right here. I loosen this nut, and you can move this back and forth, and it'll put it in farther. But you always want to set your points in full advance. If you're dealing with a bike that has to be advanced and retarded, depending on how you start it. So once you get that all figured out, put your cover back on, lock it down. That's what helps kind of ground the whole system. As well, obviously it'll run if you have the cover off. It'll run if you have the cover off, it'll run fine. But once you lock it, that locker kind of helps everything protect all of it. You're going to put your timing plug back in. Try and remember, if you're not starting with fresh plugs, try and remember what plug came from which hole, so that you can put them back, so you can monitor how your carb is. Because if your carb is not tuned, what you need to do is once you get these all put back in, you need to set your carb, whatever carb you are. There, I could go through every one of them, but for shortness of the video, refer to your manual of the carb you just bought, and it'll tell you the start procedure for the first start, how to set the carb up. But before you start the bike, you need to install your pushrod clips again. So these are the retaining clips, and they're pretty simple they're very simple to put on. But we're in the process of such a great video teaching you how to start your bike on one kick. Let's take a moment to appreciate our good friends at First Aid and all the quality products. Make sure you go stop by their website and check them out and pick yourself up some good. I happen to have some carb cleaner, just giving this a little dilution, getting a little bit of the oil off of it, giving her its little bath. Ooh, that smells good even. That's nice. It's not, it's a chlorine, I think. I don't know, it's good. That's all you need to know. Look at the oil come flying off of this stuff. I mean, that's nice right there. That's what that is, that's nice. Now that one's locked in. Life is good, life is lifing. So this carb is already set to where we need it. Because once you get your bike started, you're gonna let it sit there and idle and warm up to a good, to the bike is at operating temperature. And then you wanna start dialing your carb in and getting it dialed, because that helps. That helps you get, the tighter you can get your carb dialed in, the more efficient everything's gonna burn. I set my spark plug gap to about 22 thousandths. I like a little shorter gap, so I like a sharper hot spark because I'm kicking. I don't have a battery turning it, so I shorten the gap on my spark plug a little more. Some people like to set them at normal gaps. That's a preference thing. Everybody has the reasoning why. But let's see, where are we at next? So after we get everything set, we want to roll the motor over and check every push rod. And it's called zero lash. You get no up and down movement, but you can sit there and spin freely when it's on the low side of the cam. We want, if you are on the low side of the cam and that push rod is tight, it's too tight. It will not fire. What you're doing is you're hanging a valve open. And now you will not get air in, air out properly, and it will cause you to be literally kicking your ass off and not know why. It's very simple. It could be as simple as a half a turn, a 2-3 flats out, to where it's just a smidge holding that valve open. So that is very crucial that you check all your lashing. Now, once the bike's fired, like I said, you're gonna adjust your air idle mixture and make sure we get that dialed in. Most of the carbs are very similar. You start at whatever starting point it asks for, and you start rotating left until the bike stumbles, and then you start counting your turns back towards the other direction until it stumbles again. Split it in the middle. Now you can fade it a little this way, a little that way, depending on how long your exhaust are, how blah blah blah, all the different stuff. But that'll get you about in the sweet spot to where you can start and really get this thing dialed in. So once we get that all adjusted, we got all that, the bike's back together, we got zero lash, we got everything. You should be able to start your bike pretty easy. I can say this, usually after you just built everything and just put everything together, rarely do you get it to be a one kick right away. You might take you 5, 6, 7 kicks to get the oil in the oil in the cylinders, to get the gas in the cylinders, to get the combustion. So don't give up and think, oh man. So what you do is getting it dialed in, it takes a lot of writing, it takes a lot of time and patience. You don't just do it your first time and say, oh look, one kick trick from the jump. You know, you ride it for a little while and you start to adjust it. So this pan head, you actually, when it's cold, start it and retard, and as soon as it starts, you hurry up and advance the timing. So when people say it's kicking back on us, and it's gonna kick you back, what that means is you have your bike too far advanced. I don't care who you are, it's too hot. You got it too far advanced. what you need to do is take timing out of it. You need to retard the timing a little bit at a time, a couple degrees at a time, until you find that spot where it does not kick back. Now that's your starting spot. You know, because it's very easy to, you know, be a couple degrees off. But once you get it dialed in to where it's not kicking back, now you can start playing with the push rod adjustment and pushing and getting it set exactly. Because if you get the bike to start and you hear a bunch of like metal on metal banging around, it's probably your one push rod's probably too low or too short. And when it's tight, it's strong, but when it's, you know, on the bottom of the lobe, it's sitting there inside this push rod tube doing this, just bouncing around and just having a heck of a bad day. So if you hear that, that's fine. Just readjust your push rods, go through the steps. You want to adjust them on low cam. You don't want to adjust them on high cam. If you adjust them on high cam with zero lash, I can promise you it will not work in your favor because you won't have enough to actually open the valve. But one other thing to think about. So if you have a bike with an accelerator pump, everybody always tells you you have to do 3 prime kicks, turn the key on, and then you can kick it and get ready to fire. So let me ask you this. You tell me this. If I have an accelerator pump, the point of a linker that was on these old bikes, the reason you had to do the prime kicks is because it didn't have an accelerator pump. So you actually close the choke to kick it so you get the vacuum to suck the fuel into the cylinder heads for combustion. But when you started it, you took the choke off to get airflow into it and it will start. So that's why you prime kick it, is to get fuel into the combustion cylinder. Let me show you how the super ease in that do. Watch this. There we go. Look at that. Priming her right up. Three prime squirts. It wasn't a kick. I didn't have to do anything. I twisted my handle. Accelerator pump. It does the same thing as a prime kick. Here, bop, bop. Now, if your bike's been sitting over winter and like all the oil in these old great bikes, either if it hasn't leaked out already, it's down in the crank. So what you want to do is you want to pull the plugs and you want to give it a few good kicks to get the oil circulated out of the crank, because it will be a heck of a time getting that bike to start when you have all the oil sitting in the crank with nowhere to go. So if it's a first time starting a while, you got to pull the plugs, kick some stuff out, start fresh. So if I've done everything right, we might have a 1-kick bike. We might not. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we do. But as you can see, I haven't rode this. I rode this bike at 6 o'clock this morning. I parked it and haven't rode it again. I instantly, before I started, I'm going to pull my timing and to full retard. I'm going to pull my gas on. I've already did the prime squirts. If I primed it anymore, it's going to be flooded. So you also have to watch, if you give it too much, you're in the flood zone. So now, this is the way you can stand beside it. Look, everybody talks about how you kick a bike. Kick it. Kick it like you mean it. Kick it. And I'll give you a couple examples. So if I'm standing off to the side and I'm doing this, I'm not kicking the bike. The bike's kicking me. You're 9 chance out of 10, you're gonna get a kickback. When I kick this bike, I put my heel all through the ground and I stand on it and listen. If it fires up, and then I'll let it up. You're not hurting anything by just holding it out there. And I'm talking hold it. Don't, oh, maybe. No, commit. That's the one thing with kicking a bike, it's commitment. And I know all you males have commitment issues, and I'm okay with that. I do too. But you have to commit when you do a kick bike. You have to commit, and you have to kick it like you mean it. So we have the key on, double check. I'm just gonna double check, make sure we're in neutral. We are in neutral, life is good. So you're going to push down until you feel that transmission grab. You'll feel it. I have pressure right there. Oh, it would have fired. Then back to it. We just had a pop because I overshot it with fuel. So every kick bike is different. The reason it popped is I squirted too many shots of fuel in it and it wanted to pop instead of kick. Common, it was on the verge of being flooded because I usually only give it about 2 squirts and I did 3.5. So I put just a hair too much fuel in, so it wanted to pop out. Nonetheless, That's how you make your bike a one-kick trick. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, do all the dang thing for us, and that way we can continue to bring you more educational videos like this and help you become a better rider, builder, fabricator, jack of all trades, master of none. Until then, remember, always keep the rubber on the road and the miles climbing. Later.